to be bothered. Oh, living life with no stress. Yes, every minute's my best. Yes, feel like I'm winning the lottery. Buying my mama a house is harder than pottery. Winning it just like I oughta be. Things looking up, up. I'm living on the bright side, looking for that good life. Everything is alright, riding on that golden wave, swimming in a fresh blue pussy, feeling brand new. Sun is about to break. Ooh, I love the world today. I'm living on the bright side. I'm living on the bright side. I'm living on the bright side. The sun's out. La 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 la. And it feels so good. La 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 la. On the bright side. La 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 la. And it feels so good. Let's go. 1, 2, 1, 2. Praying hands to the Father. Oh, way too good to be bothered. Oh, living life with no stress. Yes, every minute's my best. Yes, feel like I'm winning the lottery. Buying my mama a house is harder than pottery. Winning it just like I oughta be. Things looking up, up. I'm living on the bright side, looking for that good life. Everything is alright, riding on that golden wave, swimming in a fresh blue pussy, feeling brand new. Sun is about to break. Ooh, I love the world today. I'm living on the bright side. 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 It's that tank top weather, oh. All my friends get together, oh. Feel it couldn't be better, yes. Tell me this is forever, yeah. Summer days they're getting hotter. She getting up out the water. Baby is beautiful, so that's the future is wavy. Colors are crazy. I'm living on the bright side, looking for that good life. Everything is alright, riding on that golden wave, swimming in the fresh blue pussy, feeling brand new. Sun is about to break. Ooh, I love the world today. I'm living on the bright side. 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 The chemistry is right. I'm feeling so alive. Dreams flying in the sky. And I'm never coming back. I'm living on the bright side, looking for that good life. Everything is alright, riding on that golden wave, swimming in a fresh mood, pussy feeling brand new. Sun is about to break. Ooh, I love the world today. I'm living on the bright side. 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 I'm living on the bright side.
Already. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Real Talk Podcast. What's up, DJ Gold?
What's going on, Mr. Adams? How you feeling, man?
Well, you already know.
So much energy.
I'm pumped up. We got some good guests in the house. You know I'm turned.
We're going to give it a few seconds because I see we're getting a few people just now checking in. And please make sure y'all do share this live. Definitely going to be a good live, so make sure y'all please share it. Here we go. We live now. We live. But make sure y'all do share this. But go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, please, once again, please share the Real Talk Podcast, and we are on YouTube. The Real Talk Podcast LC.
All together.
All together.
Yeah, all together. You can't put it in separate. You got to put it in all together.
All together.
LC.
LC.
Yeah.
How was your weekend? Let's just get started real quick.
Great. Slush on Friday. What else I do? Oh, the R&B and cigars Shout out to Kenya and everybody that came out downtown Waukegan. Had a great time. Grown folk vibe, but we definitely had a good time. So shout out to everybody that came to there, and I just relaxed after that. Now it's work. How was your weekend?
Good until the Bears lost. I'm gonna just say that right now. But we're gonna be good this week.
So
we're gonna be good this week.
Against Green Bay?
You already know it because you is a Green Bay fan. So
No,
stop playing with
nah,
me.
not
Yeah,
a Green
everybody know that here at the panel. They didn't know you was rocking that Green Bay. You talking about you coming to show up with your green and yellow.
I'm definitely not a
Please.
Green Bay fan, but Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, quarterback fan.
Urlacher, Devin Hester, Forte.
Okay.
All right. So okay, let's get this straight right
So
now.
I'll go with Walter Payton, Willie Gault, Richard Dent,
William
Mike
Perry.
Singletary. Yeah.
Don't leave us out.
Yeah, I ain't gonna leave the fridge out. Okay. But yeah, I'm going with like that. Yeah, of course.
Well, tell everybody at home who you going with because you always against me with the bet.
this Sunday, I will be going with Green Bay. And
Well, like I said, y'all.
I bet you every year and you lose. So
Yeah.
it's just
We ain't
like
gonna talk about this on live. We'll talk about this another time.
$300 every time. But go ahead, we're gonna get right
For
into it.
educational purposes, I do not gamble.
And shout out to Lawrence Moody, man. Thank you for the stars. I see you didn't waste no time, so I want to thank him. Everybody that's watching, man, just thank you for just taking your time out, watching, tuning in. And please make sure y'all share this video, live video. So anything that happens is live. So
Let's go.
And the reason why we look so good is RF39 Productions. Let's not forget our staff. They
Man.
take care of business. They got us looking right.
yeah, you
All
and
the
these,
time.
you and these colors on the damn. All right, we ain't gonna
Christine,
talk
you hear
about
him
it.
right now? Don't do another hoodie.
Don't let him pick the colors no more. I gotta pick the colors because obviously he's not doing a good job. Yeah, shout out to everybody watching. But go ahead, Paul.
Okay, we're going to kick it off. We got a guest right here. The coach is in the house.
The coach.
Let's
Okay.
go. Let's
Okay.
go. Let's go.
That's all. Is the coach?
All right. I mean, hey, I got one on my side right here, man. Come on. You got
Oh,
one?
I thought you
Let's
was
go.
going to say more than this, coach.
Well, the coach right now. Let's go ahead. We got
All
two
right.
guests.
Yeah, we definitely got two guests, but on my left, probably your right, because you're probably watching it from home. We have the currently a judge right now in the Lake County Circuit Clerk. He's from the community, right here from North Chicago, but we're gonna let him say all that in this podcast. So, but today we got the Honorable Judge
That's what's up.
Matthews
Thank
in the
you. Good morning.
building.
Good afternoon. Good
In the
afternoon.
building.
We'll get him one.
Good
No.
All right.
All morning. So good morning. Good afternoon.
You did right, because any other time he's saying good morning when
No,
you
he
know,
usually say all right.
Somebody else say all
Yeah.
right.
Well, okay, we'll get on up.
and now you act like you ain't familiar with the system. But
I'm about to
go
turn
ahead.
my phone off right now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, we're
Yes,
going to
sir.
start with Mr. Springs today. We're going to get these questions rolling right now. We ain't finna play no games. Anything else you want to say?
Coach, no, shout out to Coach Springs though.
Okay,
definitely.
okay. Let's see.
He's we got people that's involved in the community, man, and good people right now. So we just gonna let you hear what we talking about, and we're gonna ask a few questions. You already know how it goes, so
Let's go.
make sure y'all get ready. Let's go.
All right, so we're going to kick right into it right now, people at home. So tell us about yourselves. We're going to start with Mr. Springs.
Hey, I appreciate it. Great show. Professionally put together. Clap it up for that.
Yeah, let's
Professionally
come on.
put together. I love it. We got to control our own stories.
Energy.
Great job what y'all do, what y'all hosting the program. And to my right, man, the church. Come on.
Yeah,
This
you
is our
gotta give it up.
community.
Come
I love that we have this kind of platform in Lake County to present and to showcase. I'm Dwayne Springs. Yes, they call me coach. I've been coaching over 30 years in the community, but besides being the coach, I'm a community activist. Besides being a community activist, I'm an advocate in the community, and I'm an entrepreneur. But before all of that, I'm striving to be a man of God. After being a man of God, I'm a husband and a father and a servant.
Amen.
So that's who I am.
Amen.
And I am Mr. Somebody got to be great because somebody got to do it. Somebody got to do it. Two claps.
Yeah.
Somebody got to do it. Two claps. Let's go.
Up, down, huh?
Come on, all that.
Yeah,
Let's go.
hit them ladders.
Let's get it.
Next, we have the judge. Judge, so tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, yeah. So, again, thank you guys for having me here. This is a great program. Born, as most people in this area, I should say a lot of us, St. Therese, when it was still open.
Yeah.
But grew up in North Chicago. initially on Dickey and then in Manchester Knowles, where I've spent the majority of my life. And then my mother moved us to Dugdale next to Mayor Thompson. I live literally next door to him. But I'm one of five. I have 4 older sisters raised by a single mother. And the cats I grew up with in North Chicago, they're my brothers. And it seemed like we all had a similar story. Single family homes. One of ours lost his father due to a drowning. He drowned. But all single mothers, and we all had like a similar goal and striving in life. But anyway, grew up there in North Chicago, played Flames football, went on to play North Chicago football and run track. From there, went on to Western Illinois, where I walked on and played football there and tried to strive academically. Played with a host of good people like Rodney Harrison and Brian Cox, a couple people that went on to the pros. And then from there, I finished, worked as a probation officer for a number of years, seeing how the Lake County system worked. And then is when I got inspired to try to go to law school. So I went down to LSU. A real reason for going down there was one, they gave me a scholarship. 2, I just want to see what the ladies look like down there. Really, if I'm being real, that's how I was as a young man. And so I went down there and graduated and came back and didn't know what I wanted to do. I know I was offered a job at the public defender's office. That didn't come through, but then I got a job at the state attorney's office. Did that, and then I became a judge.
All right.
Yes, yeah.
Hear that right there.
We played football together when we were in semi-pro, and this man was always committed. We both were saying the same thing. I'm like, man, I want to go to law school. He's like, hey, I'm going to law school. I'm like, I'm thinking about going to law school. And one of us kept thinking about it, and one of us got it done. So I'm so proud of him because I remember him telling me he was going to law school. Everybody called him sheriff at that time, and he was committed to going to law school, and I was committed to doing what I eventually did, was take care of my family and become a community servant. But that is not ain't about me. I'm talking about him, and I'm applauding his achievements because that was outstanding to see a man in our community commit to a goal and go and get it done. And he didn't have it sweet, but he committed to a goal and went and got that done. And I want everybody to know in our community that you can commit to a goal and go get that done. So let's make sure we give our applause to that man, and we appreciate you. Appreciate it. Let's go. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
As we should.
So, Mr. Springs, you also played football, correct?
I played football. I mean, I'm 53 years old. I don't talk about what I did in my 30s that much. You know what I'm saying? What I did in my 20s, what I did when I was a teenager. I played football. I played baseball. I was a walk-on at college. I've coached guys from beginners to pros. I enjoy being committed to the sport. I'm 5:30 in the morning tomorrow. I'll be in the gym with young men. We train as a profession. We mentor as a profession. We're working and building our own school, and that's what I do. I am the coach, but I am a teacher, a mentor, and all of that. And I play football, but I'm 53 years old. I ain't talking about when I used to have a curl. I'm a grown man, so there's some stuff we don't have to even waste time and talk about. But yeah, I did play football back when I was in my 30s and 20s and teens, and now I'm appreciating being able to be a far better coach than I ever was a player. I'm not the guy that, why didn't you make it to the pros? Because most people ain't making it to the pros. That's the reason. But what I am is far better as a coach and mentor, and I hope even better as a father than I have ever been as a person. So those are the goals that I have for myself.
There you go.
That's what I'm talking about.
So somebody said, salute to Coach Springs. They said, thank you for your hard work. And my child appreciates your time.
That's what's up.
That's what's up. Clap it up 2 times.
Yeah. And that's coming from the Andersons.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's big.
Very big.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna just say this right now. I appreciate all the people that I've been able to coach through the years. Probably hundreds a year for 20-some odd years or more. I don't need the flowers. I don't need the flowers. People are like, I need my flowers. I don't need the flowers. I'm a real man. I don't need the flowers. Don't bring me no flowers. Let that happen after I'm gone. Appreciate me, hug, boom, and then let's go. So we ain't got no time for crying and playing. I got time for work. So, man, let's go put in the work. Let's be committed to the job. And we have a real job on our hands right now because we got a fool that's in office, and that fool going to make sure that us in our community step up and protect our community. So after we finish with the ha-ha and he-he's, let's let's get to the work, because this fool, the orange one, is pushing us to make sure that we have to work for ourselves, because if we don't do that, he's willing to step on our neck.
Yeah.
So let's get to the work.
Let's get to the work.
We getting to the work then.
Hey, I'm getting to the overtime because they ain't putting no taxes on the overtime. I'm on number overtime all 20.
I guess that's what they saying though. No taxes. We'll see about that next year. I just don't see that happening. I mean, me myself, I don't see that happening. Man. But I'm gonna get right into another question. I just want to ask. So basically, you got into coaching because you wanted to help. Pretty much as I can say.
This was my senior year, 1989. We had for sure, 1989 and number. I told my teacher, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" I said, "Well, I'm going to either be a lawyer or I'll be a coach." Okay. They said, project your life 20 years down the road. I said, I'll have 2 twin sons, and I'll be coaching or I'll be a lawyer. I'm going to coach for Waukegan Park District. I'm going to go all the way up and coach till I'm at the varsity or heavyweight level at that time. From there, I'm going to coach at the high school, and then I'm going to go coach the Bears. I'm going to be divorced. This is what I told my high school teacher at 17 years old, because I knew who I was at that time. So some of those things came. My sons are a year and 9 days apart, and I was raising them independently until I was a happily divorced man, and then I became a happily married man later. I coached from the youth level to high school. I never got a chance to coach the Bears, but everything else came the way that I said it would then. Coaching is what I do to reach the youth, to reach the community, to make them better at what they do, to build better men. So coaching is what I do. It's part of the business, but I'm also a community advocate. I'm an activist and a historian, and our community is more important than the taxes.
Oh, okay. There you go.
I was throwing that at you.
No,
for sure.
I mean, the community is important. The community number one. Like,
yes, sir.
They the future, right?
Absolutely.
That's how you got to look at it. The community is our future, man. We got to invest in our community.
Yes, sir.
And make sure our community good. Help the community any way we can.
Yes, sir.
Any way. It's the simplest thing, help the community.
For sure. I mean, right now we have opportunities. People say, what can I do? What can I do? And men in our community, I'm like, okay, when the last time you've been to a school board meeting? When the last time you've been to a city council meeting? Are you on the PTA? Are you working with the children in your community? Are you going to the football, basketball practice? I mean, what can I do? It's a lot you can do. Are you reinvesting your monies back into the community? Or are you just, tricking it off? So it's a lot we can do. We can keep pointing fingers, or we can look at ourselves and say, hey, I didn't even get that done. I didn't do this. You know what I'm saying? We all have opportunities, and what we have to know is we have a responsibility to go and get it done.
Definitely.
Hey, he said a mouthful right there.
I mean, no, because there's different ways you can play your part. There's different ways. We play our part, definitely, in the community, but everybody could play a different part.
For sure.
You know what I mean? You don't have to play the money, man. Like you say, if you tricking it off every day at the strip club, hell yeah, put that in your community, or find something you can help out, because one little thing can make the community feel 1,000 times better.
No doubt. But what y'all do with the show, the information that you put out with controlling our own narrative is so important. And that's so important that we can put out our message unfiltered. You know, you guys have a show and y'all bring people on that can provide information. So that's key to any kind of revolution, to any kind of knowledge base, is to be able to put the information out, to put that information out unfiltered, and then to do that in a way that's attractive to the community. So, I mean, really big props to y'all. It's a revolutionary move what y'all are doing. So I hope y'all appreciate it, understand that.
No, thank you. Michael Bones said 2 great men that definitely give back. And Rob Hobson say SBGBG.
Somebody got to be great. my man. Yeah, that's our saying. Somebody got to be great.
So shout out to them for just watching, tuning in too. So
good men, both of them good men right there. Bone with ammo. That's just being creative. Like, let me go on that real quick. Bone and Pooh and them had an idea and then said, "Yo, I'm going to get it done." That's God right there. That's how the God force says. Idea, go from idea to boom, put it on the blueprint. From the blueprint, put in the work, go through the obstacles. Oh man, this didn't work. Boom, go back and go get it done. So that's the brilliance of our mind, that we can't be stopped. Oh, I can't get this field, or I can't get this insurance, or this player don't like me. It don't matter. We have to know that we have to take the responsibility to do for self, to create our own, and that's what they did with ammo, and that's what they're doing. We have more opportunities for more people. Everybody don't have to be ammo part 2. It's some more other stuff for you to do. You know what I'm saying? So we got to keep going. Good stuff with Mike Bone and them for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So this is gonna be a question for both. What do you guys see different in the kids from back in the day to the kids now? Us growing up.
Yeah, we're gonna ask the judge first.
Okay, for sure. We can start off with Judge. What do you guys see? Because they both handle things with the kids as far as in school and after school and all that. So we can start off with Judge. What do you see different?
Well, yeah. So from my viewpoint, so for those who don't know, I am the supervising judge out in juvenile at Depke in Vernon Hills, which means there's 2 judges out there. We're both circuits, but I was appointed to supervise the operations from a judicial process out there as well. And so I handle a caseload where I not only handle delinquency cases where young people made a poor choice, and that's the word I use, the phrase, poor choice. Not bad kids, young people who made a poor choice. So I handle those matters, delinquency matters, which if it was an adult, it'd be a criminal matter. But we call it delinquency for juveniles. And that's anyone under the age of 18. And then I also handle abuse and neglect cases. So I handle the DCFS cases where there's a problem at home and the children were removed for a reason by DCFS. And so what happens is once that removal happens, within 48 hours, they have to, excluding weekends and holidays, they have to bring that case in front of me or my counterpart, and we have to determine whether or not there was sufficient grounds to initially remove them, and then the process begins from there. So in that role out there, and I've been doing that now for 2.5 years, and then also I was a probation officer, and then also at my church, which is First Corinthian Missionary Baptist Church. Eugene Robus is my pastor.
Shout out.
There, I worked with the youth for over 20-something years in our youth department and continue to mentor there. So in my role in that capacity, what I see is more support is needed for the families. I see that families are struggling in today's economy, and oftentimes that can have a direct effect to their ability to adequately supervise their children in a lot of cases because it's a social economic thing. They're struggling. And the struggle is not only financially, but some of the struggle is also mental health. Not mental illness, but mental health. It's a difference.
Yeah.
And so with that, I see that we have our young people having to be more adult-like at earlier ages than they probably should be or need to be. And so I think that's a struggle as well. So if I had to say one of the differences I see is parents. Now, don't get me wrong, my mother struggled too. One single mother with 5 kids. But I think certain parents were built different back then too. And so there's a lot of, there's not one key factor, but I think that's one of the issues as I see it.
Heck yeah.
I agree with that.
Parents definitely.
Versus the kids now, though. As you see them coming in as far as we grew up.
Right, and I think again, there's a lot of factors to that. I mean, you can't blame one thing. You can look at social media. You can look at when we were growing up, we didn't have a cell phone. The biggest thing we had in high school was a beeper, and we were happy to get that. Collecting all kind of colors. I got a purple one, I got a red one. I remember you put in the number to say hello, or there was a message to say call me on the payphone.
Yeah.
But so we didn't have the ability of the cell phone where we can communicate with somebody just like that. We would have to go see them on our bikes and go get together and talk with them and have open discussions in face-to-face. So we can hide behind a cell phone or a post.
Okay.
Or a Facebook page. We had to go see them and talk to them and reason things out sometimes, or just socialize. So I think that a lot of the advances that we have, we can call it advances, but also in some ways they're probably setbacks as well.
Okay. DJ Go, I definitely got to ask Coach Springs, because he dealt with them growing up and he dealt with them now. And Coach Springs, take it away.
And he probably done seen a lot of them, had a little slides, ups and downs. So,
I appreciate that.
Come on, man.
I agree with the judge.
And he knows the.
I agree with the judge.
Oh,
I have worked with what they call behavior disorder children for 20 some odd years at multiple different places. And what I'll say is bad parents. Bad parents, lazy parents, lazy adults, lazy community. The lazy community makes for children that have more challenges. I don't care if they got a cell phone. I don't care if they got a car. I don't care what they got. If the parents are better parents, if the community is better community, then we can control little minds. The judge understands this. There's a thing called statutory rape. Why statutory rape? Because at a certain point, an adult man should be able to convince a child to do something that the child would not willingly do with an independent mind. So you mean that I could convince a child or immature mind to do things, and I can't convince them to sit down, shut up. I can't convince them not to go shoot nobody. Then you lazy as a parent. We lazy as a community. We lazy as teachers. Then we lazy as community activists. We're lazy, and that is we see the reflect in our children. The children reflect. The children reflect what you really mean. Sometimes the parents will lie to you. How you doing? Smile in your face and all that. The child come around and the child gonna tell you the truth. You be like, why this child acting like that? Because the parent been talking crap about you the whole time and they can't lie as well as they mom and daddy. So the child reflects the truth. The truth of what's wrong with our homes is in our children. They show us what's going on at home. And what I see for the most part is a lack of discipline, is a lack of commitment, and a lack of intelligence to go get it done.
Yeah, that's deep.
Man, I'm trying to tell you.
And plus, you figure we can't. Like I say, the newer generation, I just think they are way out of control. They had too many iPads, iPhones. They watching too many of these videos. They watch too many rappers. But that ain't the life, because it's like you see what's happening. I seen somebody. Cullen made a post the other day. He put a list of 10 good rappers. Either they in jail or they dead. And it's like, man, the rapping ain't it. You know what I mean? Quit listening to what they saying or quit, you know what I mean? The parents got to even help out and just, man, teach these kids different. You know what I mean? Put down the what they call them poles now. Put down the guns, poles, whatever, however you want to call it. Put them down. Find something else to grab. You know, because all you're doing is hurting somebody or going to either spend the rest of your life in prison.
That's for sure. But what I do want to make sure we understand is that we do have to speak the facts. When I was coming up, late 80s, 90s is when crack hit. It was more violent. It's more violent than it is right now. The numbers show you that it was more violent. What you didn't have was social media. So we couldn't blame social media for the violence that happened when crack hit. When crack hit our communities, the numbers are glaring. Yeah. Crime is, people don't want to hear it, but crime is on the way. Can you agree with me on that? Crime is on the way down per the stats. From the 90s, from the 90s to this point, crime's on the way down. Now, can it be even better? For sure, it can be better. But when the crack epidemic hit, it was unheard of, a revolutionary change to the bad. So, it was a terrible time in the past, and we can fix that. We can go through terrible times without just, throwing our hands up and, ain't nothing we could do. For sure it's something we could do. And we have to go get it done. So let's make sure we look at the stats. And the stats will show you that it was worse than this. Then what happened?
I believe it was probably worse, but back in the day, I think when we were younger, 'cause y'all older, like it was either crack or you was a cool guy, you know what I mean? Or you was, we didn't have all the drugs they got now. They got 20 different drugs and people think it's cool to do, which it ain't. And I can actually tell everybody out there, like I smoked marijuana before, I drank alcohol, smoked cigarettes before, but I never tried no other drug and nobody ever peer pressured me thinking pills or lean, none of that stuff was cool. I never did it. That's why I look the way I look now. You know what I mean? I never tried it, never let anybody peer pressure me because that ain't cool. None of them drugs is cool, but back in the day, they only had one drug. So if you smoke crack, you crackhead. You don't want to be a crackhead, but now they make it okay to do pills, fentanyl, and all this other hard drugs, which it ain't. It ain't cool. But I think the kids is getting turned out on it at an early age, and they think they might have the money for it now, but you really a junkie. You know what I mean? That's why drugs ain't cool. And I tell everybody, put them drugs down. All pills, all that is considered a drug because you're addicted to it, and it's not cool.
And let me say this too. And again, I know when Coach was talking about the '90s and the problems with the drugs and crack, I got to be honest. In the '90s, I didn't focus on that because I wasn't aware of it. And the reason why I wasn't aware of it, that's why I can't really opine about that, is because, see, I was afraid of my mother. I was definitely afraid of that single mother who went to church
we don't get that
5 times
now.
a week. And so her focus, which of course became my focus, was either in the books or you're playing football or you're home. One of those 3 places. I mean, I had to sneak to go to my girlfriend's house, and one time she sent my sister to come and find me. That was the most embarrassing. She knocked on the door and said, "Mama said come home." So, and I was definitely afraid that little short woman. So I didn't focus on, and again, I wasn't trying to be selfish, but my focus was grades, football and track, try to sneaky see that girlfriend, and then come home. And that was it. So, and I didn't become more socially aware until really I was, after I started for this law school, when I became sort of politically aware and socially aware. So, but I can say is, from my perspective out in juvenile, I don't see crime going down. I see still a lot of gun cases. I get a lot of gun cases, kids still, shootings and possessions, carjackings. I get those a lot out there. And my approach is, as I deal with the young people that come in front of me, I like to think of it this way. This young person probably went through a hard life. I don't know their story yet. They may have been yelled at all their life. They may have been put down all their life. They may have been cursed out all their life. They may not have been given a chance. So my approach initially is to meet them where they are, show them respect, call them by their last name, Mr. or Miss, let them know what the process is, and let them be able to ask me questions as long as you don't maybe jeopardize their case. I always let them know. I don't want you to say anything that may jeopardize your case, but I like to show them that this system is meant to care for them, and I'm trying to help them through this process, and to rely on their lawyers and rely on their parents, but you got to follow my rules though while you're out there. If I'm going to allow you to be out in the street, because I do have to make the decision whether to release them while the case is pending or hold them, which is a whole nother topic I don't want to bore you with right now. But I try to meet them where they are.
I want to take this, and you my brother, so I want you to take this jab I'm about to throw at you,
definitely.
like we in a hamburger drill right now.
Okay.
You don't keep your job without there being people that's in trouble. The reason why there's law enforcement, where there's all the juvenile judges, why there's all the probation officers, is because it has to be people getting in trouble. So there has to be a market for crime. If not, then all these people that are in crime don't have nothing to do. Now, is there going to be a judge? For sure. But all of the people that make their money through the juvenile justice system, I'm talking about from the probation officer to the police to all these advocates and all of those people, are because they are saying it has to be crime. So how do they not want it to be crime?
So it's a money market almost.
Oh, it's absolutely a money market, for sure.
I'm not going to agree with that.
Okay.
Let me say, I want to make sure. I want to make sure, because I think it's important.
Let's go
I
with
make
it.
sure, because a couple of things. This is why I brought this book here.
Uh-oh.
A couple of books.
Uh-oh.
But what I have here
Here
is called the
judge.
it's called the Judicial Canons. It's called the Judicial Canons, and these are the rules and guidelines a judge must follow. We must follow these guidelines, and part of my job today was to make sure I educate. So one thing a judge cannot do: a judge should not be swayed by public clamor or fear of criticism, because we wouldn't be able to do our jobs if we were worried about what the community may say. Also,
for sure.
A judge shall not make any public statements about a matter pending or impending in any court. And the reason I point those two things out, because I often get asked, well, Judge, what's your opinion on this or that? And I tell people I can't talk about it. And I just want them to know there's the rules. And so if I'm going to be a judge and I'm going to tell you to follow the rule, I got to follow all the rules as well. The constitutions, Illinois law, judicial canons. Now, what I want to say is, I don't do judges get salaries? Of course they do, just like anyone else gets a salary or a wage. However, my salary or wage is not dependent on how many cases I handle. It's not based on who I find guilty or innocent. It's not based on anything like that. And to tell you the truth,
I don't think
I would
people
go
should
into
worry
a
about
different field. If crime could be shortened, I would love for crime to stop. I would love for someone not to be shot or killed or someone to lose their loved one. I would love it. And if that meant me losing the job, then guess what? I have to find another job. So I just want to make sure that's clear. And when I was a prosecutor, I didn't get paid by the number of cases I prosecuted or anything like that. Or if I got a conviction. My salary was not based on the conviction. So that's something I take highly with a lot of credibility, with a lot of integrity in my conversation. And one last point I want to make too is oftentimes you'll hear, and I want to make sure I educate the community on this as well. We suffer for a lack of knowledge.
Okay.
And especially when it comes to the judicial process. And you have a lot of people out there trying to explain to the public what happens in the judicial process. The one thing I'll tell people is come and see it for yourself. Now, I know everybody can't do that. I know people work jobs. But if you get a chance, come. Sit in the courtroom. It's public. Not juvenile. It's confidential. You can't sit there. And I'll talk about that later. But most other courtrooms, come. Sit. Watch. Watch a case from beginning to end. Come back. Learn for yourself what's going on so that you can be educated. Because we often hear judges are doing this or doing that, right or wrong. That don't bother me because guess what? We are public officials. So that means we're subject to ridicule and criticism. That's fine. That's the public's right. That is your right to say, judges, you're not getting it right. You have a voice. And so that don't bother me at all because that's your right. But come and learn the process. Find out what the laws are. Find out why a judge is ruling the way they're ruling. And I'll say like this. Somebody once said to me, well, as a friend, Reggie, when you hear when we say something about judges, this and another, are you offended? I said, no. They said, because we're not talking about you. I said, no, you are, but I'm not offended. They said, well, no, you're not. I said, no, you are. Let me tell you, this is the example I would give. If someone say, boy, them Warhawks are sorry. That football team which they're good this year under Coach Hill. Thank you, Hill, Coach Hill, for what you do. He's been Coach Wilton Hill. And he's working, and he's doing more than just on the football field. He's motivating young guys and doing what he needs to do. And I have a lot of respect for Coach Hill. But let me say this, though. But when I was a part of that team, and I'm still, in my mind, a member, if somebody was to say, the Warhawks are sorry, and the Warhawks not doing good, this and another, and they'll say, Reggie, we're not talking about you. I said, no, you are. You know why? Because I'm a Warhawk. Yeah. I'm not going to shed, I'm a Warhawk. Guess what? Judges, I'm a judge. I'm not going to shed that. The blacks, no, I am black. I'm never going to shed so this is the group I belong to. Okay. I belong to the black community. Right. Proud of it, and I'm going to stay committed to it. I'm a Warhawk alumni, proud of it. Stay committed to the fact I'm a Warhawk. And I'm a judge, proud of it. And my job is to elevate judges, to elevate the office so that it can be an office that's looked at with respect and honor. Now, you may not like a decision, and that's your right. You can voice that outside the courtroom anytime you want to. That's your right. But my job is just to elevate and to educate.
Sure. I want to say that first why I looked at him on North Chicago because I am a Bulldog. And when let's go Bulldogs.
Here we go.
And we were not good this year. But when I was the head coach, I did beat North Chicago. So, I
think that was a hot day.
It was only hot on our side. It was only hot on their side.
They had 80 players. We had a mighty 12.
Well, QA had 80 players.
And Coach Hill took me to battle. Go, Coach Hill.
Here we go.
Baby. I'm a walk forever, baby. Hell to the red and white. Why is the team so loyal?
Let me give a couple shout-outs real quick. Shout out to Miss Clark watching. Tiffany, she's watching. Lance sent to L Jam and D. He sent some stars. Ronisha,
keep them coming. Yep.
Miss Mama Sled, she checking in. Robert Hobson said, pick up a book. That is where the information is. Miss Bishop said, #1 judge for the young children, Judge Mathews. And shout out to everybody else to watching. Make sure y'all do share this real fast, please.
For sure.
We do need stars as well.
Let me say this real quick. This book, this is one of the books that the whole Trump guys and all that want to have banned. So y'all see this, Google this, and go get it. But that's going to tell you about the systems of racism that help to put our youth inside the system. I believe that Reggie Mathews as a judge is going to do a good job as a judge, but there are absolutely systems that put us in the position to have to be in front of the judge. At a certain point, once they're in front of the judge, then the judge has a job to do for sure. But there are systems in place that help our youth to be involved where they have to get to the judge, where they have to get to the probation officer, where they have to get to these people that may or may not have their best interest in mind. So that's why we do have to read and study and educate ourselves. And we got jokes about Waukegan in North Chicago, but it's really just one big community. So when I'm saying that, it's one big Waukegan, North Chicago, Zion, one big community. So, but what you do see in these collective communities is that the young black men are not doing well. They're not doing well academically. There's some few unicorns, but the masses are not. Google it. They're not doing well. So we got to find out how to fix the schools so they don't have to get in front of the judge, so they don't have to get in front of the probation officer, so we can clear some of these issues. And some of that, what I believe, is smaller schools, smaller learning environments for some of these churches and individual organizations to do more with a select amount. And if all of us have a select amount, we could have more effectiveness in our community.
So, not to cut you off, so the schools are too big right now. You're saying the population, that 4,000, that's just too much to even focus directly on that amount of kids? Or
I think that, I know that you move elephants slow.
right.
If you wanted to move something, you probably take a rabbit. I can move a rabbit faster.
Right.
I can move a small group faster. I can educate a specific group faster.
Okay.
But if I have to say, okay, I got to educate 3,000 today, how do I get 3,000 done? Then they get the minimum amount of attention. Right. 3,000 doesn't get the specific that they need. They don't get the direct attention. And I know these young black men in particular are doing terrible at Waukegan. They're doing terrible. That ain't Dwayne Springs figuring it out. That's the facts.
These facts. These are all facts right now. Yeah.
So we specifically got to address them so they don't have to go see the judge. I ain't mad at the judge for doing his job, but I am saying that system doesn't work without having criminals to be a part of that system. And I would like to take more of those. They project, if you're not reading that grade level by third, fourth grade, that that's how they determine who's going to be in prison later.
Yeah.
So we got to fix that.
So let's just flip the script right now. Judge Springs, I'm a defendant. I'm a juvenile coming in your courtroom right now. I get caught with a gun and coming into school. How would you handle that matter right now if you're the judge?
He come into school with a gun?
Yeah. How would you handle that matter?
What's the rules? I'm a discipline guy. I'm a guy about discipline.
So what's the
okay, then what you got to do is you got to leave here and you got to go to Springs Preparatory Academy. You're going to stay over there at Springs Preparatory Academy. You can come to my school and I'm going to keep you here. Did anybody get shot?
No, nobody got shot.
Okay, cool. We're going to keep you over here. You're not going back home to your mom and them. We're going to see what's going on with them. Because if you got a gun, there's something with your mom and them too, because they got to have some responsibility for that. But we're going to take you out of that environment, and sometimes they need to stay in the county. Or in the juvie. Sometimes being in the juvie saves them from killing somebody or for somebody killing them. So I'm not against that. I'm just saying that system is predicated on there are going to be criminals. So that system is made for that. What I'm trying to do is take them from being in that system. I don't want them to have to go to that system. But once you're in that system, you need good people in there, which Judge Mathews is. But you can't trust that everybody in the system is good. You know what I'm saying? You can't put them in that system and expect all the judges to be good, all the probation officers to be good, all the counselors to be good.
You can't. Yeah, that's impossible. That's impossible anyways. But so technically you saying that you definitely put them in the Springs Foundation
put them in somewhere where somebody can help them.
Yeah.
Somebody can help them.
But you're not going home.
Oh, no, not with that gun.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
no, can't go home. Can't go home. Home's the problem.
All right.
Home's the problem.
I'm pretty sure. But see, I guess maybe you're not in the position of actually being a judge, but I think some other judges will figure out, like, should I put him in jail or not? You know what I mean?
Well, this particular case is one we're dealing with. We have a young man that we're both dealing with.
So what if he, just say the honorable judge right now, he says, man, he has good grades. He's an athlete. He's honors and he's showing you this, he's showing you that, he just made a mistake. Do we still fault him for having that gun?
Well, let me speak on that because these are kids I hear on a daily basis. So
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. It's a little different from.
So basically, what happens is there's two ways a young person come in front of me. One is either by way of referral, or one through the detention, being put into detention. What happens is a police officer, if they make the arrest in that moment, what they'll do is they will call our detention center in Depke, let them know what the facts are, and there's a Depke group, directors, that will review everything, determine whether or not, bring them in, we'll get them in front of a judge the next day. Or the rule is within 48 hours, not including weekends or holidays, but we do it on Sundays if need be. Or if it's something, say it's like a retail theft, and then they'll say, well, you know what, they don't have to be brought into detention and held. We'll do a referral to the state attorney's office, they'll review it, and then they will determine whether or not to charge or not. If they decide to charge, they will send the parents and the minor notice, a summons to come to court on a particular day, probably 45 days from now. Now, the usual case don't come in that way. They usually come in, they're arrested on the scene that night. Let's use a gun example. They had a gun, and what happens, they'll get arrested, they'll go to Depke, they'll be processed, and then they'll appear in front of me the next morning. At that time, I will hear from the state. I will go through with the parents and the minor. I'll let them know what their rights are in juvenile court. I read it from a form, and I give them a copy. Right. And then once I read them their rights, I'll find out if they need a lawyer, if they cannot hire one, because a minor has to have an attorney. If they cannot afford one, I'll appoint the public defender. Once I do that process, I will then let them know what the charge is. So if it's a gun charge, I'll tell them what the charge is and tell what class felony it is. And then I'll ask the state, I'll say, state, give me a summary of what the police have told you. This is for probable cause purposes. If I find that there is probable cause, sufficient evidence to believe that the crime was committed and they did it, then the petition survives. If I do not find probable cause, then it's over in that moment. And so once we get past, if I do decide there's probable cause to keep the case going, then I must decide whether as a matter, and this is buzzwords, as a matter of immediate and urgent necessity for the safety of the minor and the person and property of another, this young person needs to be detained. And so with that, I get like a custody report, which is like a little quick summary of the person's life, school, if they're in school and so forth, using drugs, they ask them questions as well, the young person. They'll ask the parents questions as well. And then I'll hear from both attorneys for their argument, whether or not the child should be held or not. And so I do look at, regardless of what the charge is, I do look at how they're doing in school. Are they attending school? Are they using drugs that they shouldn't be using, or smoking or drinking or stuff they shouldn't be doing? And I determine whether or not the parents have the capacity to supervise this person if I send them home. Sometimes parents are very real. I can't judge. Sometimes they'll tell me I can't do nothing else with that person, or my schedule is such I can't supervise them at home. And so I determine all that to determine whether or not, if I do find immediate urgent necessity and they need to be held, then they'll be in secure detention held there until at least the next court date. If I determine that no, they don't need to be held, but they can go home in what's called home detention, I will still find immediate urgent necessity, but say you can go home. In that situation, it's a 24-hour curfew, only to be allowed to go to school or work if they're working. But any other time, they're at home unless they're with their mother or father. And then there's home confinement, where I don't find immediate urgent necessity, but I believe there needs to be some kind of curfew, and they need to follow my rules as well. So even on the gun case, I will go through that exercise. And there have been some that I did allow to go home because, it may have been, and I'm not going to say what, I don't want to explain which kind of cases,
you ain't gotta
but it
explain
fell
that.
out in their favor. Now, I don't do that in all cases. Some I don't. Some you need to have a psychological evaluation done. Say if you got a gun at school, by law, by statute, I cannot release that person until they get a psychological evaluation for me to consider. So there's a lot of things that's involved in that. I don't just say go home, and I don't necessarily say let me keep you. I take it by a case basis.
That's good. Some of these parents need to hear that. Your kids come to school with a gun, you can't save them. They going to jail. The evaluation, that's what they going to need, because obviously somewhere, somehow, they not being, you know what I mean? You got to blame, like I say, you got to blame these parents too, because,
For sure.
man, they not keeping an eye on them. They not, I don't know, disciplining them.
Some of it's definitely our community, our society. We fill their brains with a lot of filth. You know what I'm saying? I got a young man that was part of my program that has 99 years in jail. I got another young man that's part of my program, 60 years in jail, 25 years in jail, multiple that got 10 years in jail that have shot somebody or killed someone. So these young men were deserving of the time that they receive. I don't believe that the judge did them wrong, so I want to make sure I don't put that out. I am saying is that we want to be preventative, where they don't have to get to that step, where they don't have to need the correction from the judge, because the judge at a certain point, you killed somebody, okay, Coach Springs can't come and give a good word to get you out of jail, or you shot and killed somebody. There ain't no good words for that, So we don't give up on them even after that. But it's hard to see this young man that we had out playing football, and now he in there, he got 99 years. That's a real story, So that's challenging, and that makes you work so much harder.
And let me say, before you go to the next question, along those lines, when it comes to like a sentence like that, and I brought my little cheat sheet here, and I want to give certain numbers out, so you at home, again, remember?
These facts. This ain't
educate
cheat
yourself.
sheet.
You
Yeah,
can read this for
educate.
yourself.
Yeah.
So we follow what's called the Unified Code of Corrections in the adult court, not necessarily the juvenile court. That's the Juvenile Court Act. I follow that for penalties. But for an adult, the judges are bound by the Unified Code of Corrections, which is located at 730 ILCS. That stands for Illinois Code of Illinois Compiled Statutes, located at 5/1 et al., meaning that you start from there, you read on. The reason why I'm pointing that out is because there are certain statutory requirements that the lawmakers have decided a judge must give under certain circumstances. So this is using, hypothetically, a gun case. If someone is shot and killed, and it's proven that the person who's in front of the judge is the one who personally pulled the trigger. That's proven at trial. That has to be proven. Murder, first-degree murder, look at the statute, is 20 to 60 years at 100% baseline. So if you kill somebody, you strangle somebody, you stab somebody, baseline is 20 to 60 years. The statute adds 25 to life if you personally discharged a firearm. So now, if a judge gave 20 years, let's say they gave the minimum of 20 years for the murder itself.
At 100%.
Then they have to add 25 to life on top of that for you personally discharged. So now you're looking at, say, he gave 25 or she gave 25 for the shooting the gun, 20 for the murder. That's 45. Now, our statute also says
100% now. You can't forget about the 100%.
At 100%.
part.
Now,
Shit,
that's right. At 100%. Now, the laws have changed over time over the last 10 years to factor in a minor's age more. So, say for instance, again, say it's somebody who is 17. Under our statute, if it's a murder and you're 17, by law, you can't come to me in juvenile. You have to go to adult. 16, basically, it's 16 and older for a murder, you have to go to adult. I have no say in that. Because your age, because of the crime.
I agree.
Now, so if you say you're 17 and it's all proven, you commit the murder, you discharge the gun. That statutory factor I told you about, 25 to life, it don't necessarily apply to those because your age, because you were under 18 when that happened. So what happens there though? Case law and the statute now says, for someone who is that age, anything over 40 years is considered natural life for that person. So what the judge has to do now is there are statutory factors a judge must consider, and they must put on the record before giving anything over 40 years. So again, those are serious numbers. I always try to tell young people when they come in front of me and they say they
football numbers, y'all. In case y'all wondering what those
at
are.
100%. And so when I have a young person come in front of me and they just, they shot and didn't hit nobody or anything like that, and I'm going to sentence them, I always give them the real story. I'm like, young man, young woman, listen. But by the grace of God, no one was killed. Because had they been killed, then you would be in front of me, you would be in front of an adult court judge, and you'll be facing these, and I let them know what the kind of numbers are. So I do that not to scare them, but to let them know, make better decisions. Is it really worth losing your life? And when I always usually give examples, I said, you're 18 right now, or 17, you don't get this, but let me tell you, I'm 52. And I can tell you I had a lot of fun in my 20s. I had a lot of fun in my 30s. I had a lot of fun in my 40s. I said, can you imagine being locked away at the age of 18 not being able to get out until if you project the numbers until you're like 38, 40. I said, man, you lose a lot of your life. So please turn your life around. And that's the kind of message I always give.
And that's a positive message. For sure. All these so-called, we keeping it real, shooters, you really ain't shooters because when they get in trouble, they get behind Lake County Jail. They ain't even got sentenced yet, but you're crying, you're whining, can't afford a lawyer. Or your so-called girlfriend that left you, and now you crying, don't know what to do with yourself. Like, they miserable. But you're outside thinking it's cool, but it's not, man. It's a lot of people locked up right now wishing they never pulled that trigger.
For sure.
And in case you don't know what football numbers is, when you watch the Bears game in Green Bay, look at the people that's on the front line protecting the quarterback. Them the kind of numbers they're going to give you at 100%.
Sure.
So you got to figure if you're only 20 right now, you get 30 at 100%, you're going to 50. You missing everything. The 20 life, 30 life, 40 life, you missing everything.
Definitely.
And if you think that's cool all over because bro and them, your ass is crazy as hell.
Absolutely.
Crazy.
Absolutely.
Bro and
sure.
them ain't worth it, man.
No,
I'm just
not
telling
at all.
you right now.
Not
Bro
at all.
and them ain't worth it.
Not
man.
at all, for sure.
It ain't worth it.
It's real. It's
it got to
real.
make sense, man. It just got to make sense. So I just want to encourage them people out there, the parents too, man. Man, tell these kids to put them guns down, man. Put them down.
For
So
sure.
this brings to my next question for both our visitors today. What can we do to improve the kids that we got right now? So for the young and for the high school kids. Moving forward, I'm saying, what do you think needs to happen at home, at here, the job, workplace?
You can't
school?
whoop the kids no more. I mean,
Who can't whoop them?
so hold on. Well, I mean, I guess they can't go to school and say nothing then.
Right. But you know, but here's the thing. Like when my children,
I advocate for that. Again, I gotta speak up. Judge can't advocate for that. But let me say this before you get your up.
Here comes the judge. Here comes the judge.
The law says that corporal punishment is not illegal. Let's make sure that's clear. Corporal punishment, which is physical punishment, is not illegal. Mm-hmm. The statute says reasonable corporal punishment. So again, I cannot sit here and define it for you because I'd be stepping on my. Remember they call it Candace?
Yeah, out your
But
body.
I just want to make sure it's clear that the law is stated correctly. In Illinois, there is a such thing as reasonable corporal punishment.
For sure.
So you just gotta be careful how you do that. You exercise that.
Absolutely.
And that's all I'll say on that.
And it's for sure it's
Listen
abusive.
at home.
It's abusive parents. Like I said, I worked with behavior disorder children for almost 20 years, and you saw some of the worst things happening, like children getting beat to where they're bleeding. So then you got parents, I had to discipline him. No, that's not discipline. That's abuse. So it's always a difference between loving discipline and abuse. With my children, because of my knowledge of history, I never could get to my thumb on whooping my sons, my daughters, none of them. I never got to number 5.
Shout out to your son over there.
For sure.
I don't need to ask, man. You whooped him, man.
But let me tell you that story. I never got to number 5.
Okay.
I never whooped any of them 5 times.
Okay.
So we got a lot of clapping.
Yeah.
It's a lot of, hey, man.
Yeah.
You don't know that I only got 4.
Okay.
But in my mind, from birth,
Yeah.
I only got 4. I'm never getting to 5.
Right.
Because if I get to 5, I haven't done good enough as a dad. I ain't instilled the fear of God in you enough to make you on a look. On a look.
Yeah.
The look should make you freeze in your steps.
That was my dad.
You know what I'm saying?
That's my mom.
And then when they grow up, then now it's a respect and an authority. Like people thought my sons were scared of me when they was in high school. They not scared no more. They just respect me now.
And that's what it's about,
For
respect,
sure,
though.
for sure.
I mean, I was never scared of my dad. I respect my dad.
Respect.
But my dad definitely, like, I ain't going to say when I got my, he can't get in trouble now, but I'm just saying.
Yes,
like,
he can.
Yeah. No, he can't.
So, like I would actually get whooped on Thursday late night.
Right.
So I call in school. He ain't gonna make it on Friday. Saturday, Sunday, he healing. Monday, he good. No stars. But I don't listen. My dad whooping. I don't mind.
Right.
But I felt like I was being disciplined. I didn't have. You take away my phone. I didn't have none of that. We didn't have PlayStation. None of that. It was just whooping. Either you're going to learn from it or not. But I'm not mad at my dad. I love him for every whooping he gave
So
me.
go.
Because I respect him to this day. I don't really cuss around him. I don't do nothing.
So you mean to tell me you didn't get a whooping where you couldn't talk or really cry? You didn't have that?
No, I'm just saying, like, when
You didn't have that?
When I got whippings, it was like extension cord, and then after the extension cord didn't work, it was these, you know what I mean? The hands. So it was like, I wasn't mad at him.
Right.
I was doing wrong.
My mother was the same way. There's a tree at 1925 Dugdale. That's where I used to live. I gave that tree a funeral because it had no limbs left. I felt so sad for that tree.
And I never thought about calling the police on my dad or getting him in trouble or going to school saying my dad
wasn't heard
my
of.
ass.
It definitely wasn't heard of though. I don't think because the whole community was on you. I mean, if I did something, Miss Collins across the street got me. If my mom and dad was at work,
that's a little
the whole
bit before
block,
my time. Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying the whole block was on you. I mean, I got a spanking from Miss Collins. Then when my dad came home, he took care of me.
So how do you compare that to right now then?
Ain't nobody caring at home.
No,
That's what I see.
I wouldn't. My mother didn't let nobody else touch me because I didn't get a lot of whoopings.
Right.
They could whoop me, but I didn't get a lot of whoopings. That's why I didn't whoop my children a lot. I think you have to have the ultimate. I can still whoop you, but don't whoop them so easily. Don't whoop out of emotion as an adult.
Right.
Like you can't be so frustrated with the job and old girl broke up with you, and now you come home, the dishes ain't done, so now you beating the hell out of the child. I told you, hold on, whoa. That's something with you to work out. You got some psychological things to work out, and then we have to understand the impact of our enslavement on the way we raise our children. Some of that is just slavery tactics. I just beat them. It's sometime where it's too much. Now, you could go too far the other way where all I'm doing is giving timeouts, or you could just beat the hell out of them. And both of them ain't right. Just the timeouts ain't right, and beating the hell out of them ain't right. There's a happy medium, and then it has to be a way to teach them discipline and respect. And it can't just be let them run wild. So I was always accused of beating the hell out of my children, and that was never the case. They'll tell you I never did that, but I clap my ass off. I clap.
Yeah.
And I might grab you.
Yeah.
You'll see the fear of God in them. You know what I'm saying? I come up to the school and stand behind the teacher like,
hey,
say what you said, big, to her with me standing right here. You know what I'm saying?
That's the worst thing you want is your parents coming to the
come
ass.
to school.
I was hard, man.
I was so frustrated.
Man.
So a lot of people don't know I've been arrested twice as a juvenile.
What?
Yeah, and one of those times,
Juvenile don't count, like he said. That don't count.
But yeah,
Hold up, you kin to Donald Trump? No,
but so me and my buddy was messing around at
juvenile.
we used to be Winchell's. I think it's Burger King now on Green Bay Road. It was an abandoned building, and back then, we thought we was just screwing up. I mean, it wasn't what we got in trouble for pales in comparison to a lot of people today, and I get that. But we were in this open field, using fireworks, acting a fool. And North Chicago Police Department came swooping around the corner in their squad. And so we took off running. Now, I ran track. So I knew that if I can get past Frank's, hit Green Bay School, get that tunnel, and go through, I'm good. They're not going to catch me. And I would get home. And my buddy, he was a little bit heavier than me. He wasn't fast. So I said, I'm going to stop when he stopped because we got to get our stories together. So he stopped, I stopped. North Chicago put him in handcuffs. Then they put me in handcuffs. They drove us down to the police department. And I started not to tell the story, but I am because I think what's real is transparency. Because we all make. So we driving, and this is Sunday too. It's a Sunday afternoon, and my mother goes to church on Sunday afternoons, and she's using a good spirit. So we driving, and I'm thinking about my mother. I'm like, man, I can't get in trouble with my mom, man. What am I, And so we asked the cop, why you stop us? Or what? He said, we have reports that you were throwing rocks from the building. So now I'm indignant. Because what? I said, I was like, we were like firecrackers. I wasn't throwing no rocks. Now I'm indignant. So we're driving to the police station, and I'm thinking, so I'm looking, and I can see the officer's gun there. And this is a true story. And I'm seeing it. And I promise you to this day, everywhere I go, I tell this story, I was going to grab it. I was going to grab that gun. I didn't know how it worked. I didn't know how you get the buckle up, but I saw the handle. My thought was grab this gun and force this cop to let you out so I don't have to go home and face my mother. Thank God, common sense snapped back in. I'm like, fool, are you crazy?
Are you crazy?
I'm like, what am I thinking? That's how afraid I was of my mother. Not because it wasn't because the physical discipline, it was more the disappointment.
Yes.
That was I cared about most. And so took us down there, long short of the story. My friend's grandfather came down, everything worked out. He said, well, we just want to teach them not to run from the police. And so that's really why we checked the story out. We just want to teach them not to run. That's why we, So let us go. We went home. I told my big sister, and I told her what happened, because that's how we siblings rely on each other. So I told my sister, and she was living with us at the time. And said, yeah, whatever you do, don't tell mama. We all good, nothing happened. So my mother came home singing, coming home from church, bringing in the sheets, whatever the song she was singing, and I felt guilty. Now, I will admit, I'm like the last Boy Scout. I just can't keep nothing. So I like, Mom, you ever see what's happening, Raj?
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
So I went to my mom, I said, Mom, I got arrested by the police. She said, what? I said, I got arrested by the police. Wow! She jumped up. I took off. I'm out the door running. She's running behind me in that church dress. I stopped because I knew it was going to happen. She drug me down to the police department to get the story for herself. But I only tell that story to say, one, I made poor decisions too. I mean, I'm not, and truthfully, I shouldn't have ran. I didn't think the officer should have put cops on my buddy, but he did. Didn't put cuffs on me. I ran. I shouldn't have done that. I was afraid. But again, I realized that young people can make poor decisions like that as well.
A blink of an eye.
And I want to be real. I just like I got in trouble, and everything turned out okay for me, and I'm sure it can turn out for others too. We just need to rebound from our poor decisions. But again, the point of that is to say I was so, when I say fear, and the fear is in the Bible too. Fear of God don't mean afraid of God. Fear is defined as respect. So when I say I fear my mother, it's more respect for my mother and her rules than like an actual shaking fear.
Yeah, you disobeying what she pretty much,
showed you your way.
Yeah, right. She don't want you to police. What? And just think who would have picked up that gun, football numbers.
No,
Football.
or gone.
Or gone. Probably gone.
Buried.
Yeah, could have went that way. But
again,
that's, he made a smart decision not to, and look at him now. Where he's at now.
Like what I have to say as we get ready, I know y'all getting ready to close, is I had a sad reality that children that I've coached and mentored have been killed. Have been killed. One young man killed by the police. I remember seeing his face the day before it happened. Young men with 99 years, football numbers for real, 99 years, 60 years. Mm-hmm. Another young man, 25 years, 10 years. And I'm talking about some of these guys were superior athletes.
Yeah.
Superior, I'm talking about some of them out here, I see you. Some of these guys were really talented. I'm talking about scholarship level athletes that went the wrong way. So we do have to eventually put the onus on the children to be mature enough to say, even if the parents ain't gonna be the bailout. When you say 17, you 17, you pull the trigger, then you're gonna be able to call on mama and talk about what mama didn't do for you no more. So you're gonna have to be able to take the responsibility as a young man to know when to make yourself stop.
You heard him, a young man, because P.O. Box 38 was where you be living at. For sure. For 4 years fighting a murder, maybe longer, in Lake County, Illinois. So you think about that. Before you guys, it's cool to do this and that, put them guns down, man. Grab a fishing pole. Grab something else, a golf club. Go golfing. Try anything. Put them guns down.
For sure.
Yeah, I hear that. I'm gonna break down this one question too. We
break it down, Paul. Break it down.
So, Judge, how does the appointment of the Supreme Court justice affect the black community?
Who gave you that damn question? Because your ass.
I had to look it up.
Hold on.
I had to look up. So I had to do. Look, I had to make this real. It's a real talk podcast.
I don't even understand what the hell you just said.
You don't understand.
I'm trying to figure out.
You wouldn't understand. You're not the judge. That's what the judge asked.
Who the hell gave you that question?
Don't worry about it. I looked stuff up.
Well, read that one more time.
No, I mean, he heard
it one more time. Don't say nothing.
You just sit here.
Read it one more time.
Look, how does?
Okay.
The appointed of the Supreme, the appointed meaning is appointed.
I understand that.
People, okay?
Okay.
Of the Supreme Court, justice.
That's the higher court.
That's right.
All right.
How does it affect the black community?
So the appointments are made by each president if there is an opening. So the president of the United States, he gets to, or she gets to, so far we haven't got to a she yet, but he gets to appoint who he wants to be the next Supreme Court justice if there's an opening and there's a confirmation period as well. Now, so Paul, and I'm not trying to kick the can on this question because really from a national standpoint.
Okay.
The Supreme Court is hearing all kind of cases, wage cases, regarding wages, equality cases, gender cases. I mean, it's a whole gamut of things that could come to them, but there's a certain mechanism to get there, which we don't have time to, I don't think, talk about here today. It's more of an impact locally of judges and the effect on the community from a local standpoint. And from a local standpoint, I can tell you how that works. Again, I'm not trying to push that question.
Right.
And again, Coach Springs, if you want to weigh in, so I'm happy for you to weigh in as well to that question that he asked as he posed it. But from a local standpoint, what happens is this: we have two types of judges. We have circuit judges, and we have associate judges.
Okay.
The circuit judges are elected by the people.
Elected.
Associate judges, they are appointed by us circuit judges. I'm a circuit judge. I didn't start off as circuit judge. I started off as an appointed judge, and I was selected by the circuits before me. When the opening came open, the Illinois Supreme Court called me up. There's some references made for me, and they said, "Would you like to be a circuit judge in your county?" There's an opening. I said, "I sure would." And then that process started, and I was appointed by our Illinois Supreme Court to be a circuit judge, which meant then I still had to run. So in 2022, I ran to retain that seat from an elected position. Now, how that works is, initially when you run for a circuit judge, the way we're divided now in Lake County, when I mean divided, the lawmakers set up for sub-circuits. So if you live in my sub-circuit, so mine is Parson Waukegan, most of Lake Bluff, and all of North Chicago. Only if you lived in that area would you see my name on your ballot. If you lived in Gurnee, you wouldn't have seen my name.
Okay.
Only that's true for, and I can't remember how many sub-circuits we have off the top of my head right now.
But
depending on where you are, that's who votes. Now, if I win that election, which I did, now 6 years from now, what happens is for retention, yes or no. Now all of Lake County can vote yes or no on me. Oh. Not just my sub-circuit, but all of Lake County.
Okay. On a second term?
When I go up, when my 6-year term is up.
So that's meaning your second.
Right. So I would say, if I start my second term now, now it's not voting for me against somebody else. It's yes or no. Should we keep Judge Mathews? And I just need to have a 60% yes vote to retain my spot. And that's why if you looked at the numbers, a lot of our circuit judges who ran this year, most of them were like 70% yeses,
right,
and 30% no's.
Right.
Most about a 60% their jobs are saved. Now, so a circuit judge have both administrative duties in the courthouse, which we guide the courts the way it should go, and we have courtroom power. So in courtroom, our associate judges only have that courtroom power, and we appoint them to be associate judges. They don't run for election. They continue to serve every 4 years at our discretion. So every 4 years, when their time is up, we get together as circuits to say, should we keep this judge as an associate judge, yes or no? And then if we say yes, then they keep their job. So from a local standpoint, the community can weigh in with their vote as to who they want to retain or who they want to elect if there's an opening for a circuit spot. And so I think that affects your community more. Now, I think it's very important. It's very important that your judiciary reflects your community. Right now, we have 2 black judges. I think we have 3 Latino judges, and then we have a certain number of women judges
in Lake County.
Okay. And then of course, so and right now, so it's 16 circuit judges, and it's 25 associate judges.
So on the ballot, did you vote? Because you
I voted.
You ain't see the judges on there?
I ain't see him.
No, they didn't ask it. It was circuit. They was asking should they keep running.
I ain't see him.
I know. I mean, I could say this. I know they can't say who they voted for,
right.
but
I can.
I got
Well, say it then.
some of them judges, no disrespect to
What you say
chains
then?
and none of them. Get
Well, don't
their
start.
asses up out of there,
Oh, okay.
man.
Well, say what you say.
2 of them I didn't know, so I didn't want to say get rid of them because I don't know them. But I know some of them judges. Man, y'all been there too long, man.
Right.
30 goddamn years. Come on, man.
And so what I said about the point I was trying to make
Pass
earlier.
the torch to somebody else.
That is he's a voter.
Right.
He is a citizen of Lake County. He is a human being. He has every right to his opinion. And judges, we will respect that. And it's important to voice your opinion. Now, me being a judge, like I said, I'm from that group. So when he say that about Shane's, he's saying about me too. No. This is what I mean by that. This is what I mean by that. Because and this is no disrespect for DJ Gold is entitled to his opinion, but this is the point I want to make about that. Again, let me go back to that Warhawk example of the football team. Maybe their record is not good. They only won 2 games. They lost the rest. And so when you come and watch that game, man, they lost again. What's happening? But what you don't see is what I see as one of my fellow judges. You didn't see the workouts. You didn't see the morning running. You didn't see the push-ups.
Right.
You didn't see early mornings or leaving your family behind. You didn't see all this work to be the right kind of judge you should be, or the right kind of football player you should be. So that's something I happen to know. I mean, DJ Gold gonna know that. And guess what? As judges, again, canons, we can't go around saying, you know, you ever wonder why? Man, the paper said this happened. The paper said that happened. The state attorney said this. The defense attorney said that. You never hear anything about what the judge says, do you, in the paper?
No.
You don't.
Because judges, we cannot openly talk about the decision we made, why we made this. Now, we can say it in open court. Mm-hmm. And back in the day, you used to have a court reporter newspaper reporter would come, a newspaper reporter. They would come there and they will find out what happened. They don't do that no more. Now what they do is they ask somebody to send in notes and tell them what happened, and then they put that in the paper, and that way they will maybe quote the judge who may have said it in open court. But we cannot talk about it outside the court. So you won't see a judge defending judges openly. You won't see a judge comment on the case openly. And a lot of times, because you don't hear that, you don't get that perspective of what work they put in to be the judges that they are.
I wouldn't take away from their work because, like I said, I don't see the blood, sweat, and tears or the running up and down the field.
Well, that's the analogy.
I know what you're saying. I don't see that. But to me, it's like a judge just retired recently. Who was that? He just retired. Was it Phillips? No, it wasn't Phillips.
Judge Ted Cognac.
Oh, yeah.
He most recently retired.
Right. And it's like, not even lying, like, I love Rossetti, good woman, but damn, you was my juvenile, judge. So it's like, I think it's time for them to sit back, man. They had so much on their mind for 30 plus years, like dealing with the worst of the worst cases. I think it's time for them to just pass the torch down. Let some of this young, fresh people that's trying to be judges or whoever.
And let me give you this. This one, this is what I usually work with: a daily, either weekly, daily, or monthly. These are all the statutes that I must consider every day of my job. Like I said, the judicial canons, the criminal code, 720 ILCS 5/1, the criminal procedures code, 725 ILCS 5/1, Illinois rules of evidence if there's a hearing or a trial, the Unified Code of Corrections, which I already gave you before.
Right.
The Juvenile Court Act, 705 ILCS 505/2 if it's a DCFS case, /5 is a delinquency case. The Abuse and Neglect Act, 325 ILCS 5/1. The Children and Family Services Act, 20 ILCS 505/1. Why do I say all that? It's because daily, that's what I work with, must deal with, and know. And I know a lot of that by heart because I did the work. Some of it, I made little books for myself right here. So myself, and this has all my case law. This has my rules of evidence. And I have a little quote on here to remind me. It's out of the Bible, Deuteronomy 6:18. Appointed judges shall judge the people fairly, do not pervert justice or show partiality, follow justice and justice alone. So, and again, I know every judge is not like me, but that's the kind of commitment that I know a lot of my fellow judges have as well. So we deal with that on a daily basis. And the reason why I bring all that up is because, in my humble opinion, when it comes to judges,
I'm sorry, Shane.
It's the years of experience. They may be old, and I may be up in age. And again, if people aren't entitled to your opinion, you shouldn't serve past a certain age. But I will tell you one thing: that particular role is so important. My pen, my signature is so powerful, it can end a home.
Yeah,
that's right.
It can send somebody to prison.
That's right.
It can maybe end a life.
That's right.
So you don't want. I don't want to put my pen on it.
That's the case. I think.
So sometimes those years of experience,
For sure.
you can't replace with a Johnny come lately.
And
Well,
that's
that's
why
the
they're
case.
not going to have like they had, either they retained, they didn't give you another option. There has to be other options. So we need to have qualified local judges. But what we have to understand is right now we're in a position where the president-elect has the ability to sway the Supreme Court of the nation, where they can make decisions that's going to last for the next 50 years or more. Judge Mathewsn is telling us about the local, and we can directly affect the local. We can vote yes or no. So we have a direct impact on that. We have no impact on whether Donald Trump chooses people that are so far right that they just get rid of all of our civil rights. They could go that far with it. So we have to be prepared for that. Some of what the judge has given us is above all of our head. We will not understand it. We shouldn't understand it unless you're going to law school or you're preparing to be a judge. But we can't understand that we're going to be in a battle because of who is the president-elect and what he can do as far as picking the Supreme Court judges. And that is impactful for our entire nation.
All right.
I want to ask one question before we even.
Nah, I ain't gonna let you do it. Go ahead though. I'm just kidding. You expected me to say go ahead, didn't you?
Because they are some intelligent black men. So I just want to ask them this question while we're just talking about judges and all that. And they can answer this because the case is over. The Ohio versus Quentin Nixon case. He represented himself on trial. I watched most of it. I think he did a good job of representing himself.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys seen it, but if you have seen it, I just want to ask, what's your take on it? I'm not trying to say if he,
guilty or innocent.
Yeah. Just how was your take on the whole trial representing himself as a black man in Ohio represented Republican state, right?
Yeah.
Like they pretty much Republican state. Did you even watch it?
I watched a little bit of it. I wouldn't put that much time to it because I believe if you represent yourself, I think the statement is you got a fool for a client and for a lawyer.
Right.
Because how can you be objective enough? How can you be skilled enough to know how to even defend yourself in that situation? How can you be astute enough? How can you take the emotion out that you have to take out? In order to be a lawyer. Even some lawyers are not equipped to argue that type of case. So to say that you can go up there and defend yourself adequately, I don't believe that can happen. If that is the only recourse, it should not be. We should find some other way. Maybe he said that was better than a public defender. I don't know.
I know that's right.
But I don't know that that's better than a public defender.
Right,
I don't know. At least with the public defender, if they did something wrong, at least you can say that they did something wrong. So I wouldn't put that much energy into that case to me studying it. It's too much stuff to do in the world for me to study that case because it has no direct impact on the community.
Right, definitely don't.
And I didn't, because of my busy schedule, I wasn't able to really devote time to watch it. And again, that's something I wouldn't necessarily comment on anyway, again, in my role. But I will say this, self-representation in Illinois, or really United States, that is a constitutional right to, now whether you should represent yourself or not, that's a whole different story. But it is a constitutional right to represent yourself. And there is case law, federal case law to that effect. And what a trial judge must do, if somebody indicates they want to represent themselves, they must go through a litany of questions to find out about what kind of experience they've had in the past, potentially represent themselves. They must understand the potential penalties they could face if they're found guilty. They must understand trial procedure to a certain degree, what it means to pick a jury, how to pick a jury. All these questions, and many more, a judge asks. And if a judge finds that the person has adequately answered their questions to their satisfaction, the Constitution says the judge must allow someone to represent themselves if they demand it. In fact, there's been cases overturned because judges didn't allow a person to represent themselves. Because they appealed and basically said, well, judge, and basically, the judge should never, I know I asked for it, but the judge shouldn't let me do it. And the appellate court said, yeah, he shouldn't have. I mean, I asked to represent myself, the judge wouldn't allow me, and though I lost, I'm mad about that. And so the appellate court says, that was a constitutional right, judge, you didn't ask the right questions, he's correct, it's reversed, go back. And it's funny, then the person said, well, can I get an attorney now? But that is a constitutional right.
All right, go ahead, Paul.
Okay.
I just wanted to.
This is one of my closeout questions for everybody at home that I'm going to ask. Judge, you don't have to answer this, but it's for what are your thoughts on our recent election for the state's attorney position? After what just happened, I just want to.
So Judge can't answer these questions because it's red or blue. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think he can. I'm not sure, because I'm now educated on that. Some things he can add. So, Mr. Springs, definitely break it down.
I'm going to finish like this, and I appreciate everybody that stayed and watched the show. I think right now that, it's a disservice not to speak about the presidential election, to spend this much time addressing anything and not addressing the presidential election is a disservice to our community. The fact that Ms. Harris was not elected, I think that we can't ignore the mistakes that were made on the Democratic side, because definitely there were mistakes made. There was money spent that was wasted. The money spent on Megan Thee Stallion and Beyonce and Gorilla and all these silly things that money was spent on for advertisement could have been spent better. I think that trying to make the black men the scapegoat that we always are for any election that's lost, trying to make us the scapegoat, that was a failed procedure. But bigger than all of that, white supremacy spoke to the world. White supremacy told you who they wanted as the president, and white supremacy selected the president of the United States of America, even though he's a felon, even though he did a fellatio on a microphone before everybody watching, even though he lies consistently, even though he's putting unqualified people in positions of power, even though he's banning books, that they're part of banning books that educate the mind. That they were boogeyman on talking about the transgendered, and I'm not a big fan at all, but they got scared about transgender and abortion and a black woman being in a position of power. So white supremacy elected Donald Trump, and I think that as a community, we have to be prepared to do for self. We have to be prepared to have collective economics. We got to be prepared to teach ourselves, because they're talking about closing down the education. So we have to understand, like, they can decide what they're going to do in education be with the people he's appointing. So we have to be prepared to make our own schools, do our own businesses, be able to take us from having to be in front of the judge. Make sure your license is straight, because you might get stopped because they say they want to give the police complete immunity, a qualified immunity it is, where they can get, they can do the most severe thing to you and have qualified immunity. So we have to understand this is a different time, but our people have been through more than this in this country, and I believe that we can come out of this successfully as well.
And let me then add to that, the state attorney's race, again, thank you, Coach Springs, for touching it on a more national level. As to the state attorney's race, the reason why I won't comment on it is not because of red or blue, because as a judge, it shouldn't matter what political affiliation we may be with, Democrat or Republican. Because as a judge, we're supposed to be neutral, and politics must not take a role. Now, as far as who won state's attorney, my job as a judge to remain neutral. So whoever's the state's attorney, there's three branches: the lawmakers, that's the one who create the laws; the executive branch, the ones that execute it, that's the police and the state's attorney; and the judicial. We interpret the law, listen to the facts, apply the facts to the law, and make a decision. So whoever's in that seat, my job as a judge is to work with that person so that the public can have confidence in our criminal justice system. I'm not supposed to do what they want me to do. No, I'm neutral, but I need to work within that framework so that we can collectively, as a system, provide a fair process for anyone who comes to my courtroom so they can feel like they've been heard. Both sides have been heard. There's been facts provided, evidence, and there's been the law, and you apply it. What separates us from the court of opinion is this. The court of opinion is an opinion, it's one person's opinion. If that goes out there into the ether, there's nothing to check that. It is one person's opinion that if it gets momentum, people start buying into it. I prefer the court of law. It may not be perfect, but at least when you come into a courtroom, both sides must and should have an opportunity to be heard. Once both sides have an opportunity to be heard, and from a neutral person that's supposed to be neutral, then you apply the law to the facts, a decision is made. Yeah. And in my opinion is, you may think the outcome may not be what someone likes, but did you give a chance to get heard? And was everything a fair process? So for me, it doesn't matter who is the state's attorney. My job is to remain what I'm supposed to be doing in my job, my role, and to support the overall system, make sure the people have a fair voice, access to the courtroom, and can be heard. And then, I guess in another day, we can get into this Pretrial Fairness Act, because I prepared for that too, just in case I had questions about the AKA Safety Act. But I guess we can talk about that on a different day.
Yes.
AKA the Safety Act.
I wasn't trying to be putting it down. I mean, the true name is not, the Safety Act is a nickname. The true name is the Pretrial Fairness Act. So Safety Act is what we call it, like in the street, if you wouldn't put it that way.
Right.
But legally, it's the Pretrial Fairness Act.
That makes sense all day. I mean, to hold people because they don't have the money was never fair. It's something that goes back to our time of enslavement and slightly after, to hold people for cash bonds, to allow the city or the state to make money in order for somebody to get out that has not been found guilty. It was always something that shouldn't happen. So I'm absolutely in favor of that changing. And then the judge can hold you if it's dangerous enough. If what you did was dangerous enough, they can hold you. But for things that were not deemed to be dangerous enough, to say those people don't have to have a bond, it absolutely makes sense. Because am I not as guilty because I have more money? No. I mean, you could still be absolutely guilty with more money, with the money to bond out. So I'm absolutely in favor of that. And I'll let the state's attorney do what they do. I'm not a fan of anyone. So whoever is in that office, do your job and let's go.
So did you want to elaborate on the
No,
safety?
I don't think we have time. I mean, that's all.
I got enough time. I got enough time for that safety. What you think, DJ? Go. I don't want to never be in that position no more. But if to let the community know
Man, when they
about
say
that.
Safety Act, they mean your ass is not safe to be out here in the community, obviously. And I think they need to stand on that. Yeah. Just like if you was to mess up or I was to mess up, if it's dangerous for the community, sit your ass down there and think about it and fight it out. Yeah, figure it out. But other than that, like I say, if it's not dangerous to the community, give them a chance to come out. Yeah, but anything violent, dangerous,
For sure.
I sat in there, so I know. You know what I mean? It just. You do wrong, sit your ass down till you figure it out.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Till you figure it out.
That makes sense, So when you do wrong, DJ Gold said, if you do
pretty
wrong,
much
think
like
about it.
Them guns, the domestics. I think domestics definitely on the top of the list.
I really think they need to take a look at the domestic too, because there be a lot of little stuff I see on both ends. They need to make something for them women too now, I think. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. They need this year. They need to come up with something.
Well, let me
There's
say
some crazy women out there too now, y'all.
Let me say this real quick. Again, we won't be able to get enough time it needs.
Give it to us, then, Judge.
So I think a different day we can talk about this, give more detail. But so there are what you call detainable offenses.
Okay.
And there's a list of them in the statute. And then if it's a detainable offense, then what happens is there's an arrest. If it's deemed to be a detainable offense, the state's attorney must file a petition to detain. If the state's attorney's office do not file a petition to detain, judge's hands are tied. You can't do nothing about that.
Ooh, okay.
So even, I would never think this would happen, but even if it's a first-degree murder, Joe blows in front of me, arrest for first-degree murder, state you file a petition for detain? No.
But
okay.
You're not filing a petition to detain? No.
Tim's out.
All right, sir.
They ain't gonna let that go.
But I'm saying that I'm just giving an extreme example.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to be extreme so people know that unless a petition to detain is filed by the state, the state judge cannot do anything regarding detaining for
out of the judge's hand.
So it has to be one, a detainable offense, and there's a list of them, and then the state must file a petition to detain. And then from there, there's a hearing that must be held within a certain time period where the judge must hear evidence to determine whether or not the person should be detained until further court order. And if the judge do decide that they must be detained after a hearing, every time the case comes up again, the court must continue to make each time the case come up. So say I make a decision today to detain, and your case next up in January. When January rolls around, at some point during that court process, I must make another finding as to why you need to still be detained each time the case is up after that. So again, that's just a little snapshot of that. Because again, there's so much more to go with that, and I won't have enough time to really give you the.
We appreciate it.
Yep.
Can I give you this? I want to make sure I share this. I have a few different projects that we're currently working on.
Come on,
we are always in the process of building our school. Right now, we are taking students, I believe, in a smaller learning environment, in the home schools type environment. Ours is called a micro school at this time. We conduct some of our classes through the public library. Also, on January the 18th, we will have what we're calling the Dream or the Nightmare. What do we do now? So it's going to be a celebration of Dr. King, and then we will talk about what do we do now, comparing the Dream and what Dr. King said was his last statement was he blending us into a burning house, and to compare that to what's going on now with the Trump election. So that would be January the 18th at the Public Library, 11:30 on that Saturday. My teams, I have a team right now for young men that are not a part of their high school team. They can play on my Springs Preparatory Academy team, and our team was really good last year. I had 3 different young men from my team that got scholarship opportunities. So we've been doing that. My brother and I have been running our AAU team, B&B Elite. I've been a coach in the community, but now I'm doing my independent sports and academic thing, and as well as the mentoring. We hold our own programs, conferences, manhood conferences, 3 times a year, and then we'll have our yearly Juneteenth celebration and informational. So our events are not just celebrations, but they are always lunch and learns, or a place where you can come and have breakout sessions so we can have these conversations that need to be had in order to build our minds. So, we laugh and joke, but we ain't no clowns. So we want to make sure that we educate our community, and that's what we're here for. So we're Springs Preparatory Academy. You can look us up online. My Facebook, I'm going to have a story every day and a motivational message. We give motivational messages daily, and we want to keep on encouraging, and giving information. So somebody got to be great. Ain't nothing but some work, and we appreciate what y'all do.
That's amazing, man, because people don't know information is the power. You know what I mean? Information.
You ain't lying about that.
And a lot of people want to hold the information, but like you say, he gives information out, or a positive message every day on Facebook.
You know that's right.
No doubt.
Somebody got to do it.
Somebody got to do it.
So upcoming events before we close out, I'll be hosting Bingo at the Encore. Come check it out.
You look like Bingo.
You know it, Bingo. That's going to be something new every Monday night. Bingo. Also, we're going to be looking at the Thanksgiving takeovers back. Mm-hmm. That's right.
So we know he's going for North Chicago. He's going for Waukegan.
You already know ZB's finna take care of business.
I thought you went to Carmel. Which one is it?
Man, watch your mouth. Watch your mouthpiece. All you got to know is I represent. Where we at right now? We in Zion.
But I'm saying you went to Carmel.
What that mean? I grew up in Zion.
Okay. So
who's in the Thanksgiving takeover?
It was Waukegan Raiders versus
East Bulldogs.
Okay. So you mean? Oh, y'all play high school basketball still? Or y'all just do Thanksgiving stuff?
What?
Or do y'all have a high school basketball team?
No,
does Zion have a high school basketball team this year? Go, can you hear my question? Does Zion have a high school basketball team this year? Okay, so does North Chicago have a high school basketball team this year?
We do.
Okay. But what I'm trying to say is, let's make it plain. Y'all don't want no smoke with Waukegan this year. Make sure y'all understand that. So with all the politics to the side, North Chicago, Zion do not want to see us. Y'all can show up to the game if y'all want to. We beating y'all by 20. I'm spotting 10 to anybody who want it. Y'all don't want no smoke this year with Waukegan.
So North Chicago versus Carmel.
That's right.
I didn't know Carmel
is elevated a little bit.
Carmel don't want no smoke with our high school team neither.
So you got Raiders versus the Bulldogs.
Yeah, that's cute. That's nostalgic.
Then you got Zion versus Gurnee.
You know it, the Warren. Yeah, it's gonna be a dunk fest. Shout out to Ani. He is his first year coming back. That's right. You'll see who it is. I got some of my sleeve.
Y'all will win on nostalgia, but everybody old now. I need 45. I need to be 45.
He's still jumping out the gym. Hey, Dre White, jump on this right now, man. I mean, Dre White is some jeans.
Hey, but like Coach said, man, we in our 50s. Now, let me tell you this
still shooting the ball.
But it's okay.
Let's jump on here right now.
If you want to go back in history, then we can do that. And I guarantee you just said you want to. But that red smoke,
don't want nobody.
Hey, Mooney, don't you say
Robert
that.
Vaughn. Robert Vaughn.
Don't you say that.
Mike Wright.
North Chicago was pretty good.
Yeah, no, Chicago good.
Steve Jones.
His name is
But it's basketball season,
Turner
and
came
none of
from
y'all
North
want no
Chicago.
smoke right now. None of y'all want. Waukegan is back. Hey, the COVID kids
Let
is
me tell
gone.
you.
Now we ready to go.
Alan Turner. Let me do some others. Alan Turner. Let me get you one.
You had a quarterback too, Johnny
Brian
Johnson.
Jones.
You had Johnny Johnson. So, yeah.
North Chicago had some good years.
I mean, young bro, don't say nothing right now. I know you across the sea. I mean, Lizelle Smith, don't say nothing because these guys here talking a lot of stuff.
Oh, we salute all of them.
Dre
Them
White,
good
listen,
players.
man.
Dre, shout
Don't
out to
say
Dre.
none of them.
Nobody's
Don't
taking that
say
away.
nothing.
But y'all got to play in 2024. Y'all not gonna want no smoke in 2024.
Y'all better pump it up. You hear this? This is what I got to deal with.
2025.
No
y'all
go
don't
and
want
Waukegan. This is what I got to deal with. Zion, y'all better do y'all thing.
Red Smoke.
Oh, man.
Hey, I'm gonna buy
I
your
think-
ticket when
listen,
Waukegan plays
I'ma
Zion
tell
this
you,
year. I'm gonna buy your
Waukegan-
ticket. Sit right next to me during the game.
I think
And when we come to North
Waukegan,
Chicago,
I'm gonna put like I was watching Kelly Walker when I was a kid play for the late Waukegan Bulldogs.
Yeah.
And I say like Jeremy Richmond was one of the best that put on a show.
no doubt.
I ain't
For
gonna
sure.
lie.
I mean, you can't take away that.
Give me a ticket. I'm going to see
You can't
Richmond.
take
And I
that
be-
away. James of McDonald's All-American.
Yeah, oh,
Anybody
yeah.
who argue about that is a liar.
So
I mean,
went to
we got somebody right now playing.
So I went to the East.
Hello.
Bulldog and Gurney game with him and
We
Brandon
ain't hear
Paul.
nothing about no Malik, though.
That was the
I
best
don't
Malik-
want
that was the
Malik.
best
Don't let me throw
just
Simpson's
simply-
name out there.
All right, yeah, this is
Don't let me throw AJ Simpson out there.
I'm trying to
now.
tell you now.
Still playing. My son's still playing.
yeah.
So
Okay,
we
yeah,
got
yeah.
pros.
Okay.
Shout out to your son. Shout out to
Anybody
your
from North
son.
Chicago
Most
playing
definitely.
besides
No,
your son and my...
Kurt playing.
Is anybody from North Chicago down there?
Kurt Hall playing right
Okay,
now.
well,
Kurt
okay,
Hall
okay,
playing
listen.
right now.
And they got some from Warren.
Lizelle playing
Somebody
right now.
in, pros from
yeah,
Warren, right?
For sure. You got some pros still
Oh,
out
okay,
there
okay,
right now.
okay.
They're playing overseas right now.
Okay.
Amron was the last one. Amron was in the league, but now Amron was in Germany, I believe. So, man, there's definitely some good players there. And we just laughing and joking. We wish the best for all
yeah.
our
Everybody.
areas.
For
So it's
everybody.
love,
Definitely.
for real.
For everybody.
It's
It's the
love.
family.
It
North
is a
Chicago,
family.
Waukegan,
No doubt.
Zion, at the end of the day,
No
it's
doubt.
a sister
For
and
sure.
brother.
That's right.
Type of thing.
So what I'm saying, I know a lot of people had the turkey tournament has been away for a couple years, so I'm really trying to bring the community back. As
No
we
doubt,
all
no
try
doubt,
to.
no doubt.
It was the first couple years. You was a coach, right? I mean, you was a coach to
I
beat
mean,
us.
you
I mean,
know.
I'm just saying. I mean, they might need you back for some help.
Nah,
Because,
they could.
when you
I'm
left,
trying
because
to
when you
figure out-
left, y'all
They
got
could.
dunked on.
I'm
I'm just
try-
going to say about 20.
They
What
good.
the hell was you doing?
I was a coach.
Coach
And I'm
the
coach
who?
this year. Well, Zion. And you will see this year. Slide on through. But anyway, also, DJ Go will be at Lucky Scotty's with us watching the Green Bay Packer game as well.
Is the dude with the fingernail still playing for the Bears? Okay, because the fingernail polish ain't working.
Well, I think our backup. The backup might be in there. I think the backup will be in there.
Matter of fact, check them shirts. Lucky Scotty, my daughter made his shirts for him.
What?
Lucky Scotty. So if you see them wearing their polos, my daughter, that's her job.
Shout out to
That's
her.
what's up.
Shout out to her daughter. Look at that.
Good
That's what
job,
y'all got
y'all.
going.
Good job,
DJ
yeah.
Go, you got something for Friday, correct?
Oh yeah, every Friday I will be at Slush
Okay,
in
okay.
Kenosha. Y'all need something to do. Good food, good vibe. 9 to 2 in the morning. That's
And
all I see.
before we leave, RF39 Productions, we always want to give thanks.
Good job,
Thank you.
good
to these-
job, good
to
job.
the
Professionals,
way they take
professionals.
care of us.
Good job.
They, y'all making us look so
Hey,
good.
yeah, definitely do.
And for next week, here at the Real Talk Podcast,
Let's-
we
let's-
bringing on Chuck Wagon, baby. Bring on the
Shout
smoke.
out to Chuck Wagon.
I want some
But
grits,
that's-
scrambled eggs, and you hungry, Go?
I mean, you making me hungry.
Well, I'm
but
just trying to say, man. I don't
you
know.
always hungry, but
Well,
I,
you know
I
it.
can get by. But hey, real talk, y'all. I just want to thank Coach Springs and Judge Matthews real fast because they took time out just to come give y'all a little knowledge in case y'all didn't know. They might have helped y'all out, but yeah, put them guns down and
sure.
And let me tell you, it was just one call, and they said they'd be here.
Who?
Just it
Oh,
was just
yeah,
one
yeah,
quick
yeah,
call.
yeah.
They
That's-
said they'd
and
be
that's
here
important.
to take their time out to come on here. So if you get a phone call from us, this is just one phone call. If you want to come on, you come
It
on.
means
If
a
you
lot,
don't, you
man.
don't. We just trying to bring you on here so the community get to know who you really are and where you stand.
That's
Yeah.
what's up.
And
That's what's
like
up.
I said, we thank them, man, and we thank y'all for watching, sharing. Thank everybody that's on the stars. Man, we appreciate y'all. And once again, thank you, Judge. Thank you, Coach. We appreciate y'all, man.
Thank
we
you,
really
fellas.
thank y'all for
Yes,
y'all
sir.
time,
Yes, sir.
man.
Yes, sir.
And for the Real Talk
And they
podcasting
involved in the
team,
community, man. They really involved in the community, man.
really
Y'all
involved
see
in the
this?
community.
Like I say, no matter what you want to be when you grow up, man, whatever you want to be, put your mind to it, work hard, it's going to happen.
That's
And
what's
get
up.
around somebody positive that's going to make a difference in your life.
You see me, I gained 5 pounds hanging around. You give me some of that.
Boy, you somebody crazy.
Good stuff. Good
Christina
stuff.
Thompson, we
y'all.
thank
We
you for
thank
the
y'all.
hoodies. I don't care what
Yeah, we
TJ
thank
Gold
y'all.
said. We out here, the Real Talk podcast.
Hey, somebody
Let's
gotta be
go.
great. Let's go.
We got to get pictures. We got to get.
The sun's out. La 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 la. And it feels so good. La 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 la. On the right side. La 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 la. And it feels so good. Let's go. La 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 la. Praying hands to the Father. Oh, way too good to be bothered. Oh, living life with no stress. Yes, every minute's my best. Yes, feel like I'm winning the lottery. Buying my mama a house is harder than pottery. Winning it just like I oughta be. Things looking up, up. I'm living on the bright side, looking for that good life. Everything is alright, riding on that golden wave, swimming in the fresh blue, pussy feeling brand new. Sun is about to break through. Ooh, I love the world today. I'm living on the bright side. 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 It's that tank top weather, oh. All my friends get together, oh. Feel it couldn't be better, yes. Tell me this is forever, yeah. Summer days they're getting hotter. She getting up out the water. Baby is beautiful, so that's the future is wavy. Colors are crazy. I'm living on the bright side, looking for that good life. Everything is alright, riding on that golden wave, swimming in the fresh blue, pussy feeling brand new. Sun is about to break through. Ooh, I love the world today. I'm living on the bright side. 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 The chemistry's right. I'm feeling so alive. Dreams flying in the sky. And I'm never coming back. I'm living on the bright side, looking for that good life. Everything is alright, riding on that golden wave, swimming in a fresh mood, pussy feeling brand